Welcome back to my studio. This is a new commission today, and I have to say one of the things I love about doing commissions is that I end up painting things that really make me stretch. My collectors have some wonderful ideas, and this piece is in Colorado, a beautiful mountain lake, and this is a Christmas gift for a grandfather, and it has him and his 4 grandchildren fishing at their lake at the cabin. So anyway, this is mountains and pine trees, and I guess they're pines, they may be firs. I'm not that familiar with the foliage and all the trees and stuff up there, but this is something that I've really not done anything very similar to this before. But behind this, and I showed you my reference picture in the very beginning, but this mountain, actually you really don't see much of it, but I wanted to paint it in because the trees have little, gaps between the limbs going out, and so you want to be able to show that color behind there. And so I'm using mixtures of ultramarine blue plus cadmium orange plus a little bit of phthalo blue plus some cadmium yellow medium, and I just scumble those colors together as I paint. I have several mixtures and different combinations of those colors, and this just allows me to put up a lot of different color up on the canvas. Now it's going to be dark. The sun's coming in from the left, and it's going to hit these trees here. So these trees are going to be in shadow back here, and they're cooler. Now I want to not lose my tip of her fishing pole, because that's going to be, the light will catch that. So I'm just going to kind of leave that as a little reference for me. And then the light's hitting this bank of land right there, but then the trees come down and this is dark along in here. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just paint that out, and while I know exactly what I'm got here, I'm going to use a fine brush and just using my maul stick, which hooks over the top of my easel, I can brace my hand, and I'm just going to put this in here just so I don't lose, because that tip of the fishing pole, the light will be catching this. I'll come back and work that more, but I just want to get that in there so that I don't lose it. And I just can indicate it. I don't need it real defined at this point. But I just want to get that in there while my paint's wet, or at this point, because it's easier to do into that dark paint. But this is going to be pretty dark back in here. And that dark's going to be in between those leaves. And I even made a mixture of phthalo blue plus liquid, which gives me a wash that's very cool in value and tone. And I can come back in here. Also, this is some ultramarine blue plus white. And this is just, I want this to be dark here. I don't want it to be just totally black. I want there to be different colors within that dark. But I want it to be interesting, and I want it to be cool. The color temperature to be cool. Now the light is hitting some of these trees as they come up into the sun. The light hits some of these. And you can see this is called a bright brush. It has a square end, and I prefer these because you can use the broad edge to make bigger strokes, or you can use the corner to make the finer strokes like I do at the top of the tree. As the trees come down, they're going to be darker. See how I use that corner of the brush to, and they're catching the light as they go up. Now as they come down, they become darker. But you can see how then that mountain just kind of is back behind the trees. Just gives a feeling of depth. This one really actually needs to go up a little bit taller. That one will go taller too. And then I bring in some of my darker, that's my phthalo blue plus liquid. But you can see how I just use a lot of different colors in here. We get cool as we come down into the depth. The shadows are cooler. There's light kind of hits that tree in between. That tree is a little further back, so you get that light coming through the darkness of this tree that's in front of it. I use a lot of tissue, wipe my brush. I wear gloves. I wear the gloves mainly because the thinner dries out my hands, and my skin is very dry, and it has a tendency to crack around the fingernails, which is painful. So I wear the gloves, and then also if I wasn't wearing gloves, I'd be a lot neater and I wouldn't get paint all over my hands. But, well, I just managed to paint out my tip of my fishing pole. But anyway, I'll continue these trees all the way up. As they come up here, they get taller, and they'll actually go up over the top of the canvas. This is painted on a gallery wrap canvas, and so the image actually goes up over the edge. These trees will extend on up. And then I'll also have the trunks of my trees will come up, and again I can use my maul stick and brace on it. And my trunks are just, I can come down. And some of these trees are bare at the top. You may have a few trunks extending up that don't have any foliage on them. And the light will also be hitting some of these trunks. I'm going to make a mixture of my mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue, plus 1 part of alizarin crimson, plus some cadmium orange. This gives me a nice warm, almost a burnt sienna color. And I can use this on some of the trunks that the light hits, like right in here in this. It's not real bright, but it will just add a little warmth onto those trunks. Maybe this one gets a little bit right here. But I'll continue my trees all the way over. I just kind of wanted to show you how I get those blocked in. I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. And please visit my blog. The link is in the description below. The address is also on the final frame of my video. You can subscribe to both my video YouTube channel and my blog, and you'll get an email every time I make a new post or put up a new video. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you ever have questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments section. And just happy painting. And thank you again for visiting my studio.